Brendan Fraser was one of Hollywood's most promising stars in the early 2000s, but then he suddenly disappeared. Studios stopped calling, auditions dried up, and a divorce drained millions. His body started to break down. Lawsuits piled up. It was like someone flipped a switch and destroyed his entire life. And at the time, there was someone in Hollywood with that exact power. Someone who could end careers with a few phone calls. His name was Philip Burke. And right before Brendan's career mysteriously died, something happened between them at a party in 2003. The craziest part was, Brendan Fraser didn't go to the police. Didn't talk to the media either. He just quietly asked Philip for an apology. But Hollywood doesn't work like the real world. They made sure Brendan would regret ever speaking up. After 20 years of forced silence, Brendan Fraser finally fought back. His story would expose one of Hollywood's most protected networks. Brendan Fraser was getting famous fast. He wasn't afraid of weird roles. His big break was playing a caveman in Encino Man. Then came the serious drama School Ties with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Disney hired him for George of the Jungle, which made 3 times its budget. What people loved was how real Fraser seemed. Hollywood wanted him to be the next heartthrob, but he just came across as a normal guy, happy to be there. In interviews, he joked about using a bicycle pump to make his muscles bigger. He was refreshing compared to other dramatic Hollywood stars, but his biggest role was The Mummy. He played treasure hunter Rick O'Connell. Making this movie almost killed him. They filmed in the Sahara Desert with massive sandstorms. During a hanging scene, the director wanted the rope tighter for a close-up. Fraser agreed to one more take. He lost consciousness and was technically dead for 12 to 14 seconds. Think about that. Fraser knew it was dangerous, but did it anyway. This shows how Hollywood worked back then. You either did what they asked, or you'd never work again. And the risks paid off. The Mummy earned almost $500 million worldwide. Fraser became a global superstar. His personal life was great too. Newly married to actress Afton Smith with his first child. Everything seemed perfect. The Mummy Returns made just as much money. Fraser had reached the top. But unfortunately, it wouldn't last. Without knowing it, Fraser had entered Hollywood's dark side at the worst possible time. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the HFPA, was basically the organization that's actually controlling Hollywood. Started in 1943, they created the Golden Globes 1 year later when NBC started broadcasting it. In the late 80s, everything changed. Their Golden Globe trophy became one of the most wanted awards in America. Winning could make or break your career. But it wasn't about celebrating great art. It was a controlled system of influence. Whoever controlled the awards controlled Hollywood. Harvey Weinstein was one of the main players. He manipulated the organization with expensive gifts, special access to stars, and personal attention. He got rewarded with tons of nominations. Other studios copied him, using the HFPA to create awards momentum. According to the New York Times, everyone got paid. Publicists, award strategists, consultants, money flowed everywhere. An HFPA consultant could get $45,000, with bonuses up to $30,000 if a film won. Money went to stylists, limo drivers, spray tanners, magazines, newspapers. This was organized crime. The HFPA controlled everything. Philip Burke was a key member. 33 years in the HFPA. President for 8 terms. To understand how dangerous it was to fight Burke, you need to know about Nick Douglas. He was an HFPA journalist who got suspended in 2004 for selling a photo to a tabloid for $50 and taking unopened beers from a party. He lost access to all press events and couldn't work anymore. 4 days before the next Golden Globe nominations, Nick Douglas was found dead. His editor said the HFPA was directly responsible. They took away his livelihood. When Philip Burke was asked about it, his response was ice cold. He said if Douglas took his own life, you can't say there's a connection. Zero compassion. It raised a scary question. If the HFPA could destroy a journalist over $50, what would they do to an actor who threatened their power? That's what happened to Brendan Fraser. In 2003, at the Beverly Hills Hotel, Fraser said Philip Burke assaulted him. After a lunch event, Fraser reached out to shake Burke's hand. According to Fraser, Burke's hand reached around and groped him inappropriately.
I felt ill, Fraser remembered. I felt like a little kid. I felt like there was a ball in my throat. I thought I was going to cry. Everything after was hazy. He thought about calling police, but only told his wife. He stayed quiet, scared of losing his career. The trauma destroyed Fraser. He became depressed and reclusive. Fraser's team reached out to the HFPA for an apology from Burke. Burke's response basically said, "If I upset you, it wasn't on purpose." A non-apology. The HFPA told Fraser he'd never have to be in the same room with Burke again. Burke denies this. The HFPA won't comment. Almost nobody knew about this at the time, and back then, Fraser probably would have been mocked instead of supported. This was the turning point. He would never recover. After that encounter, Fraser's career faded. He got small roles in Crash and guest spots on TV shows, but his career had no direction.
New territory professionally. I came of age in the industry working in feature films primarily. And, this is how it works.
The Mummy sequels underperformed. Worse, all the action movie stunts were destroying his body. He was held together with tape and ice packs, building an exoskeleton for himself daily. Fraser spent almost 7 years in and out of hospitals, back surgeries that didn't work, partial knee replacement, vocal cord repairs. The pain never stopped. Then came the divorce in 2009. Fraser had to pay $50,000 per month in spousal support, plus $25,000 in child support. This was based on his peak earnings, not his current situation. The media turned his suffering into a joke. He was spending $90,000 monthly while making just over $200,000, with agents taking more than half. Fraser became old news. The internet created the sad Fraser meme. By 2013, he was at rock bottom. He tried renegotiating his divorce payments, but his ex-wife accused him of fraud, claiming he hid $9 million. He wasn't charged, but he didn't win either. For over a decade, Fraser kept his personal life private while dealing with unimaginable pain. Year after year, he became more isolated. Only occasional photos showed him looking tired and broken. But Fraser was about to fight back. By 2018, the Me Too movement was at its peak. People were exposing sexual abuse in Hollywood. Harvey Weinstein was arrested. Remember, Weinstein was deeply connected to the HFPA. When Fraser decided to tell his story about Philip Burke, people were finally ready to listen. In a private interview, Fraser told the GQ reporter everything. "It made me retreat. It made me feel reclusive." He described Burke's assault and how the HFPA likely blacklisted him. "The silence was deafening," Fraser said. "That's the thing about being blacklisted. Nobody tells you. They just ignore you like you don't exist." Fraser said he lost his sense of who he was. His work withered on the vine. He watched the Me Too movement with admiration. These people had the courage to say what I didn't have the courage to say. Philip Burke responded coldly, saying Fraser's career declined through no fault of ours. When asked about the support he was receiving, Fraser stayed humble. He hoped others would feel inspired to share their stories too. Brendan went from playing heroes in movies to being a real-life hero. After fans rallied behind Fraser, he started getting roles again. Fans called it the Renaissance. It started with voice acting, but he really touched hearts in The Whale. Unlike anything Fraser had played before, he wasn't the fun adventurer. He was playing someone whose life was falling apart. The story followed a severely obese English teacher ashamed of how he looked from years of trauma. Cut off from his family, his health deteriorating, he spent his final days making things right. After nearly 20 years of being blacklisted, Fraser received a standing ovation that left him in tears. He'd won. He played the long game, suffered countless hardships, and poured that pain into his art. To Fraser, it was a perfect metaphor for his life. A demanding role that required raw emotion. He wanted it right after losing his mom. It connected to the strength needed to recover and move forward. The Whale won him an Oscar, one of the most desired awards in the industry. During his speech, he thanked his sons for holding his lifeline through the darkness. Only in Hollywood could you be blacklisted, destroyed, then get a standing ovation 2 decades later for surviving. But Fraser didn't do this for recognition. He's one of the few who actually cares about the art. Fraser's story helped destroy the HFPA's power. Philip Burke was expelled in 2021. The HFPA dissolved in 2023. The Golden Globes were sold to new owners. It's nowhere near the corrupt entity it once was. Brendan's comeback is honorable. He deserves praise for fighting back. We need more celebrities sharing what Hollywood was truly like. Fraser's story proves that silence protects abusers, but courage can take down even the most powerful systems. What a journey. What a man.